spoke about the difference between tradition and religion, and I spoke in terms of truth and falsity. Now, one of the interesting things about this distinction is also the following. When, for instance, we speak about religion and truth is also about the human past, then within this religious tradition or within this religion, a kind of story comes into being which is called history. History actually seen as an accurate recollection of the past, accurate description of the past, and that is history. Now, as against this, we have traditions, and I already mentioned that, you see, with respect to tradition, truth and falsity make no sense. That is, it makes no sense to ask whether Ganesh Puja is true. I mean, it might be true or false that you're performing Ganesh Puja, but Ganesh Puja itself is neither true nor false. Whereas amongst the religious people, say Christianity for example, it makes sense to ask of true worship, false worship. In the same way, it makes sense to speak of true religion and false religion. So in this sense, tradition is indifferent to truth or falsity, and you cannot ask questions about the truth or falsity of traditions. So within such traditions, there are also stories about the past, but they emerge as stories, meaning the following, that these stories are neither true nor false. Take, for example, something like Mahabharata. The way, until about a generation ago, people used to talk this way about Mahabharata or about Ramayana. Did it really happen? For instance, I asked my mother once, many times in fact. She said, I don't know whether it really happened, so why should I read it? She said, it doesn't matter why. Look at it as a story and read it, because what is important is not whether Rama lived or Bhima lived, whether Bhima really had the strength of 10,000 elephants or not, but read it for the story. In other words, it makes no difference to us, really, until about a generation ago, that was a part of the Indian tradition, whether Indian stories, Mahabharata, Ramayana, were true or false. And in fact, they were neither. That means also, they are not myths in the sense of factually incorrect information, nor true in the sense of claiming that some or another king lived in a definite part of India some 2,000 or 3,000 years ago. So this way of developing stories does something remarkable to us. We are able to establish our relationship to the past. Like all of us have read about Ekalavya as children, and we have cried. We have listened about Karna's fate, and we were sorry. We look at Shakuni and Dushasana, and we get angry. And when we speak of brothers, we say they must be like Rama and Lakshmana. You see, these are all people who in some senses are related to each one of us. And this relationship is possible only because these are stories. These are stories of our past. And it makes no sense to ask whether they are true or false, or try to establish their truth or falsity. Unfortunately, of course, in the last couple of decades, this attitude is slowly dying out, at least among some section of people. And there are many now who want to prove the truth of Ramayana, the truth of Mahabharata. I think it's a completely misguided attempt, because that is not the issue. If Indian traditions have to remain vibrant, we have to relate ourselves to the past. And this past is the stories in the Puranas we have. Let me put it in very simple sense. If you want to kill the past of a people, you give them history. And what the Indian traditions have done is to realize this. And they have given us a great past, to which each one of us could relate ourselves in an innumerable number of ways. And it is this that accounts to some extent for the vitality of Indian traditions and for their vibrancy. If you don't keep this in mind and want to tailor Hinduism in the model and the image and the mold of Christianity or Judaism or Islam, what we'll be trying to do is what some people in India are trying to do, that is transform Ramayana into some kind of a history, the way history gets recorded in the Bible.